I'm Corporal Kevin Smith with the Wilmington Police Department. I'm going to be talking about the incident that occurred near Converse and Independence yesterday afternoon. Specifically, what we had was a situation that began as a suspicious person that elevated to a possible bank robbery when bank alarms went off. The officers responding in this dash cam video are responding to what they believe is a robbery suspect. They don't know how many people are in this vehicle. They don't know if these people are armed. And they're taking appropriate steps to get these people out of the vehicle after they failed to stop initially for police and failed to follow the commands issued by the police for several minutes.
Drop him back.
Now, officers initially had to have the suspect exit the vehicle, and then they needed to get the suspect away from the vehicle where weapons might have been stored. Once they were able to isolate the suspect away from his vehicle, they had to determine whether or not he was armed, whether he had something in his hands. So that's why the officers were constantly giving commands for the suspect to show his hands and then put his hands behind his back, and the officer was emphasizing that basically with his foot. Once the suspect placed his hands behind his back and started to comply with the officer's commands, they were able to reduce the force necessary to effect the arrest and actually put him in handcuffs. Now, both suspects in the vehicle, the female driver and the male passenger, were handcuffed and removed from the vehicle because, again, officers didn't know how many people were initially in the vehicle or what might have been in the vehicle. Once the suspects were arrested, handcuffed, and isolated from the vehicle, the officers can then start to slow down their process and reduce the amount of tension involved in the arrest and start processing the scene. It's important for the public to realize any high-risk felony stop, which this particular situation resulted in, is one of the most dangerous situations an officer can face, just short of having suspects open fire on them. These officers didn't have information we now have, which of course is that the individuals are not armed. There was no actual bank robbery. But the officers didn't know that during this stop. So with the high level of tension created by the fact that the vehicle didn't initially stop when it was being followed by police vehicles activating their blue lights and siren, coupled with the fact that once the individuals stopped, they refused for several minutes to comply with the orders of the officers, creating a situation where the officers had to attempt to break into the vehicle and remove the suspects physically out of the vehicle.